Native nations did resist, fiercely, and for a long time, but the invasion was not one war. It was a pressure wave that kept returning. The newcomers did not just raid and leave, they settled. Even if one outpost fell, more ships arrived, more families came, and the frontier moved again. That is why victories did not end the threat, because the threat was replacement. A battlefield win can break an army, but it cannot stop migration that keeps coming. The hardest weapon was disease, arriving before many battles even started. Smallpox, measles, and influenza spread fast, and whole communities were weakened at once. When epidemics return again and again, recovery becomes impossible. You lose elders, leaders, and knowledge, and you must fight while society is already bleeding. Disease also created fear and confusion because nobody knew what was happening. When sickness strikes without warning, planning and unity become harder. Another problem was distance and time. Europe could lose people and still continue. New soldiers could be hired, new settlers could sail, and new supplies could be shipped. Again and again. Native America was not one country, it was many nations. Different languages, rivalries, and old conflicts made unity difficult, even when danger was obvious. Europeans used that division as strategy. Trade here, weapons there, promises everywhere. Alliances were made, then broken, and rivals were pushed into fighting each other. Some nations chose alliance as survival because the threat was immediate and local. But those alliances often turned into dependence, and dependence becomes a trap. Technology was not only guns versus bows, it was supply and replacement. Europeans could import metal tools, firearms, and later mass production, while native fighters often depended on trade or capture. Even when native warriors gained firearms, ammunition and repair mattered. A weapon without powder is useless, and a broken gun is dead weight. As time passed, the gap widened. Because industry grew, war becomes logistics, and the side that replaces losses faster slowly forces the other side into exhaustion. Europeans built forts and roads that stayed, and that changed the map. A fort is a warehouse and a warning. It says the newcomers are staying. Land itself became a weapon because settlement changes the world. Forests were cut, fields expanded, game was hunted out, and familiar territory became unfamiliar. When hunting grounds shrink, food security collapses, and without stable food, long war becomes impossible because survival steals the energy that resistance needs. Treaties became another battlefield, and it was rarely fair. Deals were signed under pressure, misunderstood through translation or broken later, and each broken promise moved borders again. Even when leaders negotiated honestly, the rules kept changing. One governor agreed, another ignored, and settlers moved in anyway, so diplomacy often delayed loss instead of stopping it. Then the conflict became organized by states, with bureaucracy and money. Governments could fund campaigns, build roads, raise militias, and keep pressure constant across huge distances. By the 19th century, the pressure turned into removal, relocation, and confinement. Forced movement breaks communities, and a people forced to move must fight while carrying their whole world. Another brutal factor was leadership disruption. Again and again, leaders were killed, captured, pressured, or divided, and without stable leadership, alliances and strategy fracture. And even when resistance won local victories, the response grew larger. More troops, more forts, more laws, and each cycle made the invader stronger on the next return. So, why couldn't Native Americans resist in the final sense? It was not a lack of courage. It was disease, population replacement, industrial supply, shifting law, and endless expansion, all at the same time. But survival still mattered, culture still endured, and resistance did not vanish. It changed form. If you want more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and tell me the next nation, war, or leader you want explained in the comments.